Jack Dainty-Jones assignment for current affairs in the UK that affect the public services and citizens. Current affairs in the UK include the student demonstrations, the increase in fuel prices and cutbacks that are in the public services, which includes reducing the number of officers inside of the police force. These all have a big effect on the society, but they can be twisted and portrayed differently by the media, which then can mean they might have an even greater impact on society. The student demonstrations began due to the fact tuition fees are costly, which was implemented by the government, which then led to protests and riots. These demonstrations then affected the public services because a lot of officers had to deal with this and keep it under control. The ambulance was also on standby just in case the situation got out of hand, so then they could take care of the injured. These sort of demonstrations portrayed the students and the police in a bad way. The media made this worse by only showing footage of the students being violent towards the police or public, and then by showing footage of the police acting in an aggressive way to the students. This then made the public not support either of them, as they saw how bad they were acting. After all of this, the media have been giving the students a bad name during this generation. For those unfortunate students who was protesting in a new and harmless way are now being stereotyped against, as the citizens have been brainwashed by the media through the newspapers and the radio. Fuel prices increase. The recent change in fuel prices made the citizens of the UK unhappy. A huge protest of 1,000 vehicles that were travelling to the M56 and onto the M6, where this queue extended by an extra 500. When the police heard about this protest, they sent officers to make sure the situation is under control and not out of hand. The press said that the police turned tractors and cars back and ticketed them. They also had dogs deployed to send in if the protest got out of hand. The media made the police look aggressive, as they used aggressive force to stop the protest, in which they did not. Due to the fact the fuel has risen, the citizens are going to be upset and angry because it's a change that the citizens don't want, which means they are going to rebel against this change, as it is a normal thing to do until they get what they want. Public service cutbacks. It is estimated that through the next 5 years 350,000 workers from the public services will lose their jobs, as they are warned by the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development. Due to these cuts, crime has increased. It has been estimated that 1 in 3 of the crimes will be binned, which is because they will not get solved, so they get rid of them. Crimes such as burglary, sexual offense and theft will not be investigated, which then means the crime will never be dealt with. There was also cuts in the RAF, which led to the decommission in multiple aircrafts such as the Harrier, Nimrod and the Sentinel. Many pilots were made redundant due to the public cutbacks by the government. Media reports and the public services. The media can have a positive and negative effects on the public services. This makes it really difficult for public services to do their job properly and to fulfill, because people might be exaggerating the truth. For example, Mark Duggan was shot in Scotland by a yard marksman after officers stopped the taxi in which he was travelling in Tottenham in August 2011. This then led to riots across England. The media observed this before televising it. They reported on the rioting. This then made it worse, as it is then broadcasted worldwide, so therefore more people rioted and causing stress on the public services globally. The riots spreading causes secondary effects as it spreads to social media like Facebook and Twitter. This then gave the rioters more support, as many different people on social media have seen the events that happened and decided to join in. There were an extra 20,000 police officers brought to London from around the UK as backup, as a lot of people were joining in. Jordan Blackshaw and Perry Sutcliffe were sentenced to 2 years in prison for incitement to the riot. they organized the riots on social media. Racism on social media affects many people on social media today, but sometimes it gives an image that some police officers are racists. For example, when Judah Dunby was mistaken for a wanted man, he was tasered in Bristol. This was recorded by a neighbor and immediately put it on social media for millions of others to see. News articles were published and ITV News broadcasted the news. And people had already had their views on police officers for being racist, as the police officer was white and the victim was black and was harassed without no reason. In America, a lot of police officers are accused of being racist and social media explodes with videos of them evidently being racist, and this then affects the police in the UK because it ruins the image globally for police officers.